2025 New England. Okay. What is the new, what? Okay. Is this, I think this is our fun right here, but still it's there. We just New England 900 winner at Stafford. And we joked about it. You said I've only won one race this year.
Yeah.
But tell me about that.
Yeah. So, it's funny while you were talking about this, I actually had had somebody from New England send me, they keep track of all the stats for drivers. And, he sent me a win list of all the wins I've had since 2009. Yeah. And, I haven't been running, full time in the modified since I think it was 2017. So it's been part-time since then.
You giving them a break. They're probably happy to see you go.
Yeah, there was. But the New England 900, no, that was that was a race that Cleetus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell put on at Stafford Speedway with Crown Vics. And I was lucky enough to be invited to race with those guys and Biffle and a bunch of the people that are influencers on YouTube. And I just had an absolute blast because it was a stock Crown Vic that just happened to have nitrous and some train horns in it. And, it was probably some of the most fun that I've ever had racing because, like, at the end of the day, if it's your car or my car, we have a lot of money invested in that equipment, right? And then when you show up, you're racing for the purse. Like, there's a lot of competition there. For me, when I did that race that Cleetus had, there was nothing on the line other than having fun with a bunch of people, like as if I'm going to a go-kart track, that we're just enjoying the time, and just out there racing to race. So, as far as pressure or, the need to win so I could cover a tire bill or whatever it may be, there was none of that. And it was just, it was it was just fun to race and have a good time.
We're watching the Savannah Bananas now, who are like a entertainment fake baseball team. And then we're watching over here what Cleetus is doing. It doesn't aggravate me, but when you pull into Stafford and you see a crowd like that for Cleetus's race, how do you think about, okay, years ago I would go into the NASCAR hauler when I would get my ass chewed out by Mike Helton. And there was a sign up there, about this is a show. Now, you and I, we're checking bump steer. We're working on our shocks. We're into it. But there's a lot of people that think racing is entertainment. What was your thought on a serious side? Now we see this entertainment value going into Stafford and seeing a crowd like that.
So I used to have, there was a guy that would travel with me to all the races between the years of 2010 to like 2015. His name was Jerry, and he would always drop those because he had been around racing since the 70s and understanding the show. You know what I mean? Yeah. That is a lost piece that I feel like short track racing, it's been forgotten in some regard because, at least me, when I was racing in Stafford, I didn't want to get caught up in the drama or the villain or the, playing those roles. But those roles are so important to the people that show up every single week that are cheering you or booing you.
Do you know that now that you're older?
Yes.
When did you? Okay.
Yes, I do. And I feel like, probably a lot of young racers, they don't understand it. Just like I didn't, when I was younger. But as you get older and you're a part of the show, you need to understand what your role is. And, I think I'll just use in the Cup Series level, Denny does a good job knowing his role of where he's at in his career right now, which is playing the villain. And there needs to be that, just like Dale Earnhardt. I never talked to Dale Earnhardt. I just saw clips, and just like I'm sure, Rusty and all you guys, you knew your roles outside of just the racing side and the competition side, what entertained the fans. So I think that's kind of something that needs to be worked on if you're racing locally, maybe that's communicating between the track and the drivers of, hey, how can we help you guys? But this is how you can help us, to make it so it's exciting and brings those fans that show up for the New England 900, show up to Stafford weekly and they pack the stands like that.
Yeah, I think there's so much to be said there now that I'm older. I remember what's lost around St. Louis area is our great rivalries. We used to have a guy named Eddie Dixon. And this, of course, we're asphalt racers, but you go to the dirt tracks, and this guy is, as the kids say nowadays, this guy was banging the boards. And then you had, you had all these 2 or 3 guys that you came to watch. And now it seems like on a local level, it's gone. And it feels to me like everybody is so serious about their chassis that they want to load up and leave the racetrack right away. That's why I pressed you about that, because the Cleetus's races, me and you, we want to go, ha, ha. But buddy, the crowds he get, we got to pay attention to that.
Yeah. Well, and I think, in just my opinion, and you nailed this right there, the time and the money that we put into our equipment, it's really easy to get frustrated because, you're not making money. When I go race a modified, when I show up to run a wheel and modified tour event, I'm spending $7-8 grand to finish 6th or 7th, pays $3,500 maybe. So you're losing money right away. And, to that regard, there's just a lot of pressure because financially you probably need to win. And there's a lot of things you need to focus on. So, how do you fix that? I don't necessarily know, because at the end of the day, as racers, we can be our own worst enemy because we're going to spend whatever it takes to be competitive or more competitive. And that makes it challenging because, at the end of the day with the racetracks, if you're trying to make it so the racers can make more money, who's going to eat that cost? The fan, I don't know. Or how do you go about kind of subsidizing all those things so it doesn't make it so much pressure that when you show up, you got to win or whatnot. But I don't know. I think it's a challenging thing. But yeah, Cleetus, those guys, they do a great job as far as entertaining the fan and putting on a show that people just, they talk about it and they just love it.
And what's great about Cleetus is that he's the real deal. I mean, the man can fly a helicopter. He can build things. So I mean this in a fun, loving way. The joke is on us because he's got it figured out.